Go as far as you can see. When you get there, you'll be able to see farther. The year is 1878, and America is certainly able to see much farther than it had just 20 years ago. Hundreds of thousands of miles of railroads line the country. Towering skyscrapers and bridges made from steel serve as the foundation of American infrastructure. And colossal masses of oil keep the country lit and warm. This time period is also home to some of the most iconic American captains of industry: Cornelius Vanderbilt, John D. Rockefeller, and Andrew Carnegie. While these great industrialists battle to keep their empires intact, a new figure emerges, looking to pioneer an industry that will forever change the course of human existence. John Pierpont Morgan did not follow the prototypical rags to riches plotline. The story of J.P. Morgan was one of rich to richer. Born into the banking industry, his legendary father, Junius Morgan, established one of the world's first investment banks. From a young age, Morgan was taught to invest other people's money to make your own fortune, avoid huge risks, and eliminate competition. This was the Morgan way.
Wisely. Whereas in this particular case, he used the family money. He used it, and he used it very well, and he built upon what his father had started.
However, Morgan wanted more. Morgan wanted to craft his own legacy and not be trapped in the shadows of his father's. Eventually, he realized that in order to become even more successful than his father, he must stray from his father's teachings. Instead of acquiring businesses, he must build them from scratch, just as other industrialists like Rockefeller and Carnegie had done. Armed with this new mindset, Morgan set out to find the world's next disruptive innovation. Morgan set his sights on Thomas Edison, the Wizard of Menlo Park. A prolific inventor, Edison would eventually hold ownership of 1,093 patents. A few inventions of Edison sparked a profound interest in Morgan: the incandescent light bulb and the electrical power system behind it.
Well, he must have been impressed with the technology and said, yeah, this looks like a good deal.
He asked Edison to come put lighting into his mansion. So he went in there and he installed about 400 lights in there and set up a little generator downstairs. And Morgan was so intrigued by this that he wanted to finance the company.
This convinced Morgan to go against his father and invest $83 million in today's money in Edison. The Edison Electric Light Company incorporated in New York on November 15, 1878. This massive investment provided financial support for Edison's electric light experiments. On September 4, 1882, the Edison Illuminating Company opened its first power station on Pearl Street. Soon enough, half of Manhattan was illuminated by Morgan and Edison's electrical system. To this point, Morgan had abided by one of his father's most sacred rules: avoid competition at all costs. However, Edison ignorantly discounted one major flaw with his electrical system. It depended on direct current and is considerably weak.
There was two competing technologies. There was the alternating current and the direct current.
Edison's apprentice, Nikola Tesla, had come up with a solution: alternating current, or AC. AC is much more powerful than DC, but Edison believed that AC was too dangerous. Tesla quit his apprenticeship and began his own company with investor George Westinghouse. This company was known as the Westinghouse Electric Company and was founded on January 8, 1886.
They had demonstrations. Tesla would get these high voltages going, crackling all around him and showing how safe it was. Edison and his folks they had even public electrocutions of animals.
Tesla's AC design threatened to destroy everything that Morgan and Edison had created. As a result, Morgan pressured Edison to eliminate the competition, thus igniting a period known as the War of Currents. To show the lethalness of AC, Edison performed a variety of demonstrations. Edison designed the world's first electric chair, powered by Westinghouse alternating current. On August 6, 1890, the world's first human execution by electricity took place in a New York state prison. The execution was botched and ruined Edison's reputation, seemingly destroying any hope of Morgan pioneering the electrical industry. As quickly as Morgan's dreams were shot down, they were reignited. Soon after, the construction of the Niagara Power Station, the world's largest power plant, began. The Niagara Falls Company needed either Morgan and Edison's DC or Tesla and Westinghouse's AC to power the generators. Morgan invested $4 million in Edison's electrical companies. Meanwhile, Westinghouse struggled in debt, and Morgan designed a campaign to spark the sell-off of Westinghouse stock. At first, Morgan's campaign went accordingly, but young Tesla surrendered his royalties and AC patents to Westinghouse. All the while, the Chicago's World Fair of 1893 was fast approaching, and it seemed that Morgan and Edison were locked to win the rights to illuminate the fair. However, Westinghouse drastically underbid Morgan and Edison and won the right. On opening night, nearly 200,000 AC-powered light bulbs lit up the fair, with almost 27 million people holding witness.
George Westinghouse won that contract as well. So things kind of went that way towards the AC as being more practical and lower cost.
This appeared to be the final nail in the coffin, but where most individuals would see failure, Morgan saw an opportunity to finally seize control of the electrical industry, and he was going to do it the Morgan way. Morgan began his blitz by threatening to sue Westinghouse in a long court battle over the rights to AC.
But it's an effective move. I mean, he who controls the money has got a lot of power.
Then, Morgan proceeded to streamline Edison Electric Company, buying shares of the company until he had outright control. Morgan renamed the company General Electric and used AC current. General Electric was instantaneously valued at $50 million, or $1 billion today, becoming one of the world's most powerful corporations. By doing business the Morgan way, JP had indisputably become the electricity mogul. Undoubtedly, JP Morgan's leadership has had a profound impact on the world we live in today.
Something in the light bulb, I think, was such a visual of something's happening. Wow, you know.
Electricity is arguably the most influential invention of the 20th century, and though many people do not give him much credit, electricity is part of the Morgan legacy. The ability to produce electrical energy so efficiently and cheaply has sparked a change in the direction of the development of mankind. Because of electricity, man has been able to explore the deepest depths of the ocean, as well as the farthest reaches of outer space. Our modern economy is heavily reliant on electricity, as technology and internet companies have a tremendous presence and influence in today's global economy. Common living appliances and inventions like refrigerators, cell phones, televisions, radios, and computers are all powered by electricity. This buzzing legacy that Morgan has left is quite astounding, but it may not even be his most significant.
J.P. Morgan was really an extraordinary character. He was steely-eyed, determined, very smart, and somebody who had that characteristic, I will take charge. And he did.
Although Morgan was born and raised in the banking industry, he had many distinct entrepreneurial characteristics.
It's not too different than what happens today. An entrepreneur cannot afford to be a blatant risk taker. Now, what they are is they are risk tolerant. If something is risky, they don't mind getting involved with it.
And he created a financial empire that to this day is still one of the largest financial organizations on the planet.
Morgan's leadership has also left a legacy that has inspired a new era of entrepreneurs. Morgan was risk-tolerant, ambitious, and charismatic, and he was a visionary. His resilience, ability to handle adversity, and persistence took him to where he wanted to go. Many of these characteristics are apparent in many of today's great tech entrepreneurs, such as Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and Mark Zuckerberg.
Whatever aspect of life that you're in, entrepreneurship cuts across it, because you start thinking about how can I do this more effectively, innovatively, creatively, not waste resources, and in a quicker period of time.